Hi guys, welcome to Merancas Mic. It's your host, Elise. I'm just going to go over a few news topics from our school, North Carolina, a little bit about pop culture too. First off, we have spring break, March 10th through the 14th. Just use that time to relax and rejuvenate before we have to come back to school. Next, speech and debate will be hosting their next game tournament. When we get back, more information will be sent out in their minds. For juniors, Tuesday, March 25th, we have the ACT. Come in with your laptops. If you don't have one, Ms. Pauling will also provide one for you. If you have more questions, you can also ask Ms. Pauling. For walk-in advisory meetings, we have some in the library with Ms. O'Haron on March 18th from 10 to 4, March 20th from 10 to 3, March 26th from 10 to 3, and then March 27th from 10 to 4 again. Once again, in the library where we always meet, just bring your laptop and bring any papers like your transcript or the paper we have to turn in if you have them. If you don't, our counselor, Ms. Cruz, will also provide them for you. Buy prom tickets as soon as possible because right now, out of all the schools, we're the lowest with attendance. So just pop out, show out, buy tickets. It's going to be super fun. We'll insert clips about other proms and how fun it was. For general news, we have the Women's History Month. Tyler, the Creator, is coming March 26th. He's performing at the Spectrum Center. The Carolina Theater is opening after 50 years and $90 million in renovations. Wildfires are breaking out across North Carolina due to dry weather and high winds, which is why we're out of school yesterday. So just be safe. Nothing to really worry about. It's going to be okay. ASAP Rocky is free, as we all saw, as he jumped on Rihanna after he was freed. And then Elon Musk is on his 14th child, which is kind of insane to think about. So now on to the other segment.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the weatherman. I do weather. That's all I have left after my wife took everything else from me. So, as you can see here, it is a beautiful sunny day out. The grass is green. Wind is blowing. It's generally nice out, except for that cloud you see in the sky. That's not actually a cloud. There's aliens. They have invaded Earth. The government's trying to hide them. They're disguising them as clouds. They're trying to keep us obedient and silent. Don't give in. But I think as far as highs, they'll be around the 60s, lows mid 50s to low 60s. So realistically, it'll be a pretty nice day out. I hope all of you guys have a wonderful day. Don't listen to them.
Welcome back to the Merancas podcast. This is a Q&A section. I'm your co-host, David Huang.
I'm your co-host, Yasser Khan.
And this week's question we asked the kids are, do you think ghosts are real? Now, most of the responses we got were 50-50. Some said yes, some said no. So it's a really mixed response. You can find out more in our next topic, the debate corner.
And then the other question we asked students was, who's your favorite Spider-Man actor? And most votes were split between Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield, and sadly, Tobey Maguire didn't get any.
Now, I like Andrew Garfield, in my opinion. He's the best.
I agree.
I like Andrew Garfield.
Too.
Yeah. So our next question is, what do you think is the best Disney acquisition? Pixar, Marvel's, or Star Wars? Now, Pixar was the earliest to be acquired, followed up by Marvel, then Star Wars. Pixar had some really great hits. They had Toy Story 3, they had Ratatouille, they had Inside Out, some really great shows that everybody probably knows. And it was rated the best acquisition from Disney. And coming in next was Marvel. They came up with some pretty fire shows as well. They had Endgames, they had Infinity Wars, some pretty good shows. Moon Knight, that was also great, I love that. And then last one was Star Wars, which is recently acquired, and I don't really like how they put up the new shows. They weren't the best, so it didn't really get a really huge vote on it.
And then the question for this podcast is, why is soccer called soccer in America? So basically, in 1863, when the Football Association was making the game in Britain, they called the game association football because football was more a type of game, like rugby football. So they called it association football, and it was shortened to A soccer, which was then shortened to soccer. And America kept the name soccer, while Britain went back to football.
Now, I just think football is just a lot easier to understand because football is a sport where you kick the ball. It's using your feet to kick the ball, so football is just a whole lot more easy to understand and suitable.
And then next after this, we have Debate Corner and Pop Culture panel. Make sure to stay tuned for that.
See you next time.
Welcome to Debate Corner. I believe ghosts don't exist. These two do.
Of course I believe. My uncle saw his cat fly out the window. You call my uncle a liar?
No, most likely he just saw some kind of hallucination.
I think you're calling him a liar. Ghosts are real. Anybody that tells you otherwise is wrong. They are lying to you, and they are spreading untrue facts. They're spreading fake news. Like, get this. On r/ghost stories from Reddit, a man, a very, very, very credible man by the name of True Tomfoolery, he tells a story about the time he almost pooped his pants in the Utah desert. He was working an overnight camp. I think he was about 20 is what he says. He was going around, he was checking on all the camps, doing his late night shift to make sure things are going smoothly. There's no bears or raccoons rummaging through people's stuff. And then out of nowhere, at around 3 a.m., he hears his name whispered. But, special thing, interesting thing, there was no one around. And then, immediately after his name, he heard the frequency, the mythical brown note, causing his bowels to become immediately irritable, spilling everywhere and exploding in his pants. He had to run home. He had to run back to his cabin. There was no explanation. How do you explain that? The brown note alone is considered a myth by many. And you're refuting
Diarrhea.
this bold Redditor who had 116 upvotes. Are you denouncing those upvotes?
He probably just had diarrhea.
I doubt that. People never lie on the internet.
The issue with logic when it comes to anything ghost related is that because ghosts are real, these tools work, and these tools prove that ghosts exist. It's just a piece of circular logic that doesn't actually prove anything. Almost every time we've seen some kind of specter or ghost, it has been some kind of like dust, insects, or pollen. There's never been actual video proof of ghosts.
What if it can be seen on video?
That's a really good point.
Then how can we know that they're real?
How can you know
Well-
they're not real?
I have with me some very interesting proof that if you don't believe this very true story about this man in Utah and his encounter with the legendary brown note, which, like I said, people would never lie on the internet. They always tell the truth. Believe everything you read. There is a series of stories about a friendly ghost named Dave. Yes, Dave. Of course, someone like you
Oh,
wouldn't
he
believe
haunts
it.
our school, doesn't he?
Hmm?
Does he haunt our school too?
I wish. He seems really cool. Another Reddit user, this one by the name of Foul Wolf Trail. Also on r/ghost story some 4 years ago, he tells about his several encounters with a friendly ghost named Dave since he was 9. Yes. Of course you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't even begin to understand. You're not
Yeah.
protected like I am. You haven't kept secret these facts like I have in my steel trap mind. You just won't understand.
The issue is that there's also just hallucinations. The existence of hallucinations makes it so that ghosts are something that we can just write off. Visual stimuli that don't exist are incredibly commonplace. And then there's the fact that dreaming exists and sleep paralysis. There's so many things that can explain away every single ghost that we've ever seen. But there's really no good way to prove that ghosts exist.
That's just what they want you to think. They're trying to silence us and suppress us from
Hey.
encounters with
You know, even the
the
president said
ethereal
he's
and the
seen ghosts.
otherworldly, so that we can make a society with them and make cool ghost ice cream cones. You're keeping us from that. People like you, you're keeping us from our ghost ice cream cones. We could learn how to harness the brown note. You use it to maintain world peace.
Okay.
But you people are stopping us from that. I just want you to acknowledge what you've done. You're stopping world peace by not believing in ghosts and keeping us from the secrets of the brown note.
One major thing is that sleep deprivation, changing of circadian rhythms, can cause visual hallucinations, and we have so many studies about the effects of lack of sleep that the fact that these ghost sightings are mostly at night can point to the fact that we're not really seeing what's there. What we're seeing is just in our mind.
Yes, that's true, but what about this entire ghost sighting thing in the first place? It's been heard across every generation possible. Every country, every culture has had it. People believe it everywhere. I don't think it's just a coincidence.
The issue is that because of how inconsistent ghosts are, we can't really look at
So you
much as
can't
evidence.
prove they're not real.
Explain that, Kai.
We're with the Merancas Mic, and we're doing pop culture reviews. I'm Yasser. I'm an 11th grader. I'm Merancas.
I'm Samuel. I'm a 12th grader.
And I'm Kai. I'm a grade 13. And the topic for today is which Spider-Man is the best?
Out of all the live action ones.
Yes, out of all the live action ones. Personally, I really think that when it comes to the middle ground, Tom Holland is obviously just like a middle ground. He doesn't have the best quips. He kind of lacks in the Spider-Man department, and he also isn't as smart as Peter. So he just kind of falls in the middle. He also looks more like a teenager than any of the others.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, I know, but like he just kind of. It's not like the original Spider-Man. You know, he's a new take on Spider-Man. He's not as smart. He's like more social. He's not an underdog because like the entire point of Spider-Man in the beginning was like he's an underdog, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And Tom Holland's just kind of pushing for the Avengers, Marvel aspect. Honestly, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Tom Holland's not bad, but I like Andrew Garfield best out of all of them. You know, he's cool.
He is a very good Spider-Man. He's a lot funnier. He has a whole lot of quips that he does.
No, he is funnier. Actually, you're talking about it because I see clips of him all the time. He is actually
Yeah.
funnier Spider-Man.
He
I
dunks
actually
on
like Tobey Maguire better because it's more original. It sticks to the original trope of what Spider-Man is meant to be.
Well, here's the thing. Andrew Garfield is the one that most closely follows the comics. They kill off Gwen Stacy. They have the Lizard as a mentor who turns into, of course, the Lizard. And it's just closer. It's not perfect, and none of them are going to be, because that's what happens with adaptations. But, like, Tom Holland, we have no Uncle Ben.
Yeah,
Just
we got
weird.
Aunt May.
Yeah.
Not even that
She
bad,
died.
honestly.
Aunt May died.
She does.
Right? Yeah.
She
Yeah.
does.
A lot younger
Spoiler.
Aunt May as well. Not like the standard 70-year-old Aunt
Yeah.
May.
Yeah.
And then Tobey Maguire, he's a bit older than the other ones.
Yeah. His job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is he a college student?
No, he's a journalist.
Oh,
He's a journalist.
I don't know that you're right. What is he?
I think-
What grade is he? Like we both know the
I think
other
he
two are
was,
high
he was
schoolers.
graduated, right?
Yeah, I know
He
that.
was in high school.
I know Andrew graduates in the second movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually don't know. I forgot. I told
Yeah.
him Bryson.
But overall,
Think I can see.
And like, you know, Andrew Garfield dunked the basketball, and the other ones didn't. So I think that makes him a little cooler. You know?
Oh, wait, did I tell you about that? You know, Tobey Maguire, that scene he like throws a tray and picks everything up on the tray.
Oh yeah.
That was real. They didn't do CGI for
Seriously?
that. It took them like 200 takes for
Dang.
that. That was really dope. I read about that. Like, yeah, I like that guy. It's cool. No, and also like as an actor, Tobey Maguire is just funny.
yeah. And then, yeah, Tobey was an adult.
Oh,
so,
Tobey wasn't. Okay,
He was an
there you
adult.
go.
Okay.
Yeah, and he played an adult really well.
Yeah.
Andrew, one of the.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
he
an
played
adult.
it. He played an adult really well. Andrew Garfield runs into the issue that I don't think he looks that much like a teenager.
He doesn't.
No,
That's the thing. He doesn't.
He
Yeah.
doesn't.
He looks old.
But
in
Tom
high school.
Holland, he looks
Yeah.
like a teenager.
Yeah.
That's what a teenager.
Honestly, you probably like each of them have some point Spider-Man where like if you could just get all the like common points together, they'd make the perfect Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's why the movie where they all come together is really funny. That was really
that
cool.
movie was really
Yeah,
good.
that was
I know.
awesome.
Because no, because like that movie, you actually had to see like the differences and similarities in them. You know.
Yeah, it was really. That was a really good movie.
Yeah, it's like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man didn't need the
Yeah,
The
web
web
which-
shooter. Yeah.
the reason, according to the director's commentary on the original movie, the reason they chose to do that was, how would a teenager be able to make something better than places like 3M when it comes to adhesives? How would
Yeah.
someone of his age be able to do that? So they didn't want to give him that.
They didn't want to make him too smart.
Yes, they wanted
Yeah,
to
dumb him
be
down.
a bit more realistic in that regard. So they gave him organic web shooters,
Oh yeah.
which
Where else did they shoot from?
is interesting. I cannot believe you.
I'm sorry. Hey.
Okay. Now, on to a even bigger question. Which acquisition was handled the best and the worst? We can do both because
By Disney.
by Disney.
Yeah.
Acquisition by Disney was handled the best
Which
and
is,
the worst. Marvel, Lucasfilms, or Pixar? Now,
Pixar.
Pixar.
Fight me.
Really?
I think Pixar too. I like Pixar.
I think you're going to be right in about 2 or 3 years. At this
Huh?
point, Star Wars and
Oh,
Lucasfilm
seriously?
was handled terribly.
Okay.
The sequel trilogy,
Oh, you're talking about which was handled the
Oh,
worst.
the worst?
Oh, you're talking about what was handled the
the
worst.
best is Marvel, by far.
Really?
Marvel
No,
was
I
bought.
don't. I say
Marvel was
Pixar's
bought.
better.
Marvel was bought right after the original Iron Man. So like
Yeah.
Infinity War, Endgame, pretty much everything
Yeah.
MCU was Disney. So you can see how Disney really handled Marvel really well. And there is a lot of plot lines that they can take from the comics. Star Wars, though, bought in 2012, they had the sequel trilogy, which was not handled very well.
Yeah.
Luke has his character completely destroyed. Han reverts to the way that he was at the beginning of episode 4. Leia is handled fine. But you have characters like Rey. Palpatine returns somehow.
New characters and
Yeah.
new plot line.
They dropped Finn's plotline.
That was disappointed at, honestly.
Yeah.
'Cause he was a pretty cool character.
That,
Oh, you
he was
did-
used in
that's
so much
true.
of the marketing in America.
I think it's bad.
It also was very telling how much they changed stuff based on region. Because if you look at the posters for episode 7 in China, you'll notice that Finn is missing. Completely.
Dang.
Why they cut him out?
Think about that.
And I don't know. I haven't watched it.
Oh, he doesn't know.
I think I'm
He
out.
doesn't know.
So it's kind of handled. They just did not handle
Yeah, no,
that.
I completely agree. Star Wars is probably the worst handled.
But Pixar is going to go downhill. I
Why?
can tell you. Currently, Pixar's having trouble creating new original ideas and getting them to take off.
Okay, no, okay, let me go across why I think Pixar's better. Pixar was acquired a bit before, I think 2009.
2006.
That's it. Never mind. Okay, yeah. That's acquired in 2006. But okay, so like Marvel's and Lucasfilm actually made more money than Pixar, by around like $3 billion each. But the thing is, like, they make more money, but their films, they keep making films and then they keep making sequels. They keep making new shows based on like characters. They don't do anything like original, which I think is amazing about Pixar. Pixar comes with new IPs, and normally they come with sequels of their own successful ones, like Incredibles and Toy Stories, which is their 2 most successful series and films ever.
Cars as well.
Yeah, Cars as well. And also, Pixar has the most awards out of every single one of the companies talked about. They have more awards in Golden Globe, Oscars than both the Marvel and Lucasfilm. I think that says a lot as well. And also, I like how Pixar really goes for the intended audience, kids.
Yeah.
Everything they make is like all animated, which is awesome. Like they change animation a lot all the time, you know? Every movie is different animation, so they experiment a lot, and they always try to go for the intended audience of kids to make it for kids, you know? So I think, like, as a company, they've just stuck true to their nature. They just make animated films for kids with a story and a moral, which I think is awesome.
For me, though, as someone who like does stuff in the animation field and does research into this because this is what I love to do, I'm noticing Pixar is not pushing the envelope as much as they used to.
No, kid, I agree with that. Like
Their
after
style
2020s,
is so-
it's fallen off. I can tell.
Yeah, their style is so similar across pretty much everything they've done.
Yeah.
Now-
There's no, it's not unique anymore, you know?
Yeah.
It went to, like, it used to be unique, like, different animations, different character types, like, completely different types of people, but now it's all pretty similar animation styles,
Yeah.
and you can tell it's fallen off recently.
And that's comparing it to DreamWorks, which is
Yes, that
which
is
is
true.
so good at doing stylized
I
movies.
love DreamWorks, dude. Oh, but I can't say that, can I? They changed their Shrek. No,
Yeah, you
I'm
can't
sad
say that.
about that. They changed
But
the
that's
new
to
Shrek.
stylize it. That is genuinely to stylize it. It looks different because it's supposed to be stylized.
Yeah.
And then you're getting things like the Dogman movie. Great and stylized. Competing against Pixar.
Yeah.
It shows just how good.
Yeah, no, it's competition. Like Pixar used to be the biggest on top because of how unique they were, but like
They've
over
fallen.
time they're like, don't show me the Shrek picture, dude.
It's
Yeah.
terrible.
It
I do.
is.
But it is supposed to be stylized.
Well, just bully
which I'm
them into
fine.
fixing it like they did with Sonic, you know?
Yeah.
That's what we were saying.
And here's the thing with Pixar, they made some revolutionary things.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you look at Pixar's like box office records, it's always like big budget movie, like maybe make like $3 million out of it total, and then big budget movies losing money, big budget movie losing money, and then out of the blue they have like a big budget movie that makes
Yeah.
so much money, cross the $1 billion marks, and then they're gonna go for like a period without nothing.
Yeah.
So I hope we're just in a period of like drought of good Pixar movies, and if there's something good's gonna come up soon, otherwise,
Otherwise, it is definitely going to be the worst handled one.
yeah. Oh, you know what'd be cool? An
Incredibles.
Incredibles movie with Frozo. Just his story. It would be so cool.
I hope they take their time with Incredibles 3
Yeah, no, I do as
that
well.
way, because part of the reason I like Incredibles 2 so much is
They
did
took their
so-
time
They
with
took
it.
their time with it.
It was a couple of
It
years.
took them, what, 12 years?
I don't know, actually, that's true. It was
To
really
make-
long time.
A second one?
But it was good.
It was such a good movie.
That was awesome.
So,
I concur.
definitely,
I agree.
You did not watch it, did you?
I don't know how to
No.
watch many movies, you know? But I know like a few of the Marvel stuff. Like comparatively to Pixar, Marvel has had worser films than
Yeah.
Pixar.
they've had ups and downs. The thing is, Star Wars / Lucasfilms and Marvel have not only a pre-established IP, they also have a lot to draw on. Marvel, of
Oh,
course, has
yeah.
the comics.
The
Star Wars
the
has
books.
Legends.
Yeah, the books and everything.
Which would be awesome to see some of those adapted to
Yeah.
live action. I would love to see Prime Luke.
Okay, no,
and what he
even
could
with
do.
Star Wars, actually. Like the old animated Clone Wars, that was, in my opinion, one of the best ones. That was so well done, but like they didn't continue that. Like they could just, I mean, they tried it with the Bad Batch and
Yeah.
some other, but it's not well done.
It's not the same.
Yeah,
And then they're also having lackluster shows. The Acolyte is one that comes to mind immediately. Genuinely, a lot of people
that
hated
was
it.
bad. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I do like one of the plot lines that they started that I hope they continue to work on.
Yeah.
Talking about how the Jedi Council was just a terrible group,
Yeah.
because it's so interesting to see a good organization like that that's just being terrible to people, all the while the few Sith are just
A different perspective.
a different perspective.
Yeah.
And like you can talk all about how you can point out how the Empire kind of helped in certain ways, especially when it comes to the slavery aspect that we saw in the first two movies.
Is slavery in Star Wars?
Yes.
There's a lot of
Oh.
stuff in Star Wars, yes.
I thought they just fought
Episode
each other.
1, Anakin is in slavery. That's
Yeah.
the entire point of why his mom doesn't get to go with him.
Is Anakin Darth Vader?
Yes.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised you
Oh
didn't
my
know that.
god.
Who's
Oh,
Skywalker?
we gotta do a whole reaction thing of him watching Star
Wait,
Wars
who's
now.
Skywalker then?
Anakin
Anakin
Is his
Skywalker.
name?
Yes, and his son is Luke Skywalker. Yes, sir.
Is he Luke Skywalker's a good guy?
Yes.
Oh, that's like you are my father, right? Yeah. I know that.
Oh, yes, sir.
I played like Lego Star Wars
Oh my
games
god.
Oh.
on my phone.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts so bad.
Well, that explains a lot about why you said what you said. Okay, makes sense now. Yeah. So I just think Star Wars could have been handled better. They can do a lot with it. Pixar, though, when it comes to things like Hopper, Elio, it's not the same. Or Win or Lose, the new show that they have. All of those are just, they're not pre-established IPs, and they're having a difficult time getting them to be unique projects. Instead, we're also getting things like Toy Story 5, which, I mean, that was announced years ago.
I feel like they're pushing Toy Story a bit too much.
Yeah.
It feels like.
And they had the perfect ending in Toy Story 3.
But then they're just continuing it. It's about time to move on and get a new project going.
Yeah.
No, but another thing, like, I think all three companies just fallen off pretty recently.
Yeah.
Like
Marvel,
recently.
I mean, we got Deadpool and Wolverine, which was great.
Okay, that was great. Okay, honestly, everything after, like, Avengers, Infinity War, and all of that, it just fallen off. Like, the most recent good one was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
That wasn't even meant for children, but it was really funny.
Yeah, it was good. It was incredibly meta, and I hope the storyline keeps being as meta as they go into Doomsday, and we get Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. That was a big announcement. They could, if they keep the meta narrative.
Why RDJ again?
I think they're going for a meta narrative when it comes to that. Of like, as soon as they killed him off, that's when the franchise started to fall off.
Yeah.
Just like how they did with Wolverine in Deadpool and Wolverine. So that could be very interesting to see. I hope it does well. I hope it's not.
Okay, a lot of things like with Marvel, it's like Marvel's trying to, I guess, like push their shows on younger audiences.
Yeah.
I don't think they should, because like it was really good the way it was. It was what, PG-13? But a lot of their like TV shows now, they're pushing for even younger.
Well, things like Moon
Knight was good.
Yeah,
Not
Moon
Knight,
Knight, that was good actually. That's really funny.
Devil
You
Dinosaur.
watched it?
I watched Moon Knight. I actually watched it.
I'm sorry.
That
It was
Devil
good.
Dinosaur animated show. I cannot remember I cannot remember the first part of it. Basically, animated kids show of Marvel that from what I've seen is pretty good.
I've never watched any of those.
Moon Girl. Thank you.
What?
I'm so.
What?
I have not actually watched it. Thank you.
Oh, it's the North of Dinosaur. I've seen that.
Yeah, it looks pretty
I haven't seen the
good.
show. I just
Is it
saw the video.
Is it good? Nobody's watched
It's a
it?
kids show.
That's the
but
thing, like kids show, I don't think
It's a
they-
kids show, but
No,
it's able
I just
to do
don't
a
think
lot.
Marvel should like push for kids audience. It's not meant for it, you know. Yeah.
But honestly, I'm hoping Pixar can pick themselves back
Pixar
up.
fix themselves. Waiting for
Pixar
that
fix
drought to be
themselves.
over and for them to like find an inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Star Wars, obviously currently the worst. Marvel's handled the best though. We got Infinity War under
I
Disney.
guess so. I mean, because like
So-
consider they have like the biggest box offices.
Yeah.
In the, like
Yeah, they get the most money.
years.
so.
Money. It's about
Yeah.
money. Yeah.
When it comes from best to worst, Marvel I think was handled the best. Then Pixar kind of in the middle, and then Lucasfilms at the very bottom.
Yeah, for me, it's I think like because like what he said a lot of good points. Honestly, yeah, I understand it. So I would put like Marvel and Pixar around the same as the best handled. They handled pretty decently, both of them. Star Wars the worst, obviously, because nothing going on.
For me, I put Pixar at the best, and then Marvel second, and then Lucasfilms last.
There you go.